So next on our podcast, we have Dr. Hardik Shah, who is a nephrologist here at Bombay Hospital, and he's here to shed some light on the issue of antibiotic resistance.
Yeah.
So why do you think that antimicrobial resistance is a local and global problem?
Well, yeah, it is actually a big problem. And you would be wondering why, as a nephrologist, I would be interested in antibiotics. But believe me, every doctor and everybody who works in the hospital needs to know about this fact of antibiotic resistance, because we thought COVID was the big endemic and everybody was panicking. I, as a doctor, feel that this is 100 times more deadlier than the COVID pandemic, and that's a scary thought. It used to be localized. This problem of antibiotic resistance used to be localized to few areas and few neighborhoods and all. But today, if you read the statistics, it's spread globally. I'll give you a small example. Few years back, I think about a decade back, in New Delhi, people were dying with a deadly bacteria and nobody knew which bacteria is this. And then finally the scientists, they worked on this, and then they found that there's a bacteria which is called, now it is called as NDM, which is a New Delhi metallolactamase. Now that bacteria overnight became so powerful that it developed a shield around itself, around its wall. So nothing could break that shield. So there was no drug to give that bacteria. The more scarier part is, within a year, 67 or I think 70 countries around the world reported this bacteria in their patients. And most of them were dying. That means that within a span of a year, this bacteria traveled, obviously through air and other means, at various places all around the globe. And that is the significance of this. As you know with COVID, that it takes only few mistakes, which we don't even realize, for the spread of bacteria. And when these bacteria are going to be powerful, more powerful than human beings, they can only spread terror. And that is why I'm glad that you guys have come up with this awareness campaign about antibiotic resistance. The reason is, at various levels, these topics are not even brought about. Only in medical circles, when we have seminars and conferences and meetings, we talk about this aspect, and then that's it. But I'm glad that you guys are making an effort to bring it to the social platforms and probably various other resources that you will be probably utilizing. Because I think it's important that not only doctors, it's important that everybody else in the society knows about this. Because it's not going to affect only the doctors and the patients who come to these doctors. It's going to affect each one of you, each one of your families, each one of your neighborhoods, each one of your building, society, everywhere. And so this has to be discussed. This cannot be pressed under the carpet, saying that, let the doctors and the scientists do their job. It's not their job alone. I think we all need to contribute. And the first step is what we are doing right now, is spreading awareness. I think that's very important. Okay?
So what do you think is the other causes behind this antimicrobial resistance?
Yeah, there could be plenty of them, and there are so many causes we don't know. But the ones that we know, and where I think people have found out, and now there is more and more research coming up, is number one, it's us, the humans, and that includes me as a doctor as well. We all are guilty of spreading this awareness, of spreading this resistance. Sorry, not the awareness. The inappropriate, as you must have heard with the other guest speakers that you've probably had, is that patients are not taking them properly. Patients are taking them randomly. Patients are Googling the antibiotics, going to the medical shops, buying on their own and deciding their own prescription. Come on. Then what are the doctors and the other people are here for? That's one biggest problem that everybody is facing, and that is why it is spreading. The second thing I think is, what has happened is that in the poultry farms and in the agricultural industry, everybody wants to eat a good chicken and a good meat. To be able to get that juicy chicken and a juicy meat, you need the healthy poultries. How do you make them healthy? By not letting them fall sick. How do you not let them fall sick? You give them antibiotics even when they don't need. So if you visit poultry farms, if you visit these agricultural areas, they are actually giving antibiotics to the chickens, to the birds, and all the other poultries, so that we get healthy produce. And this is not only sold in the nearby markets; these are exported as well as frozen meat, as frozen whatever, and that is also spreading. When you give an antibiotic-laden chicken and antibiotic-laden meat in your five-star restaurants or in your street-side dhabas, what you're doing is you are actually giving them the poison, in a way, so to speak, if I may exaggerate that. And you are actually contributing to the awareness. So these are the two main causes. There are other causes. You see, there are these fancy fans, and there are fancy doorknobs, and there are fancy table surfaces which are coated with antibiotics. Now, on the face of it, it appears like the thing to do, like to maintain hygiene and all. But somewhere down the line, people have missed the bus in understanding that this is also going to spread. If you load the doorknob with an antibiotic coated surface, what you're doing is you are actually going to be responsible to create more strains, because the bacteria are more powerful than us. Remember one thing, we humans are here, we believe, since about few thousands of years. But what are these bacteria? When are the bacteria and viruses here? They're here
Since the
beginning of this world, when the God created this world. So they have outlived us, and they will outlive us. They are smarter than us. We feel that with AI and all that artificial intelligences, which is machine learning and all that supercomputers, but believe me, the bacteria, individual bacteria which we can't even see, which even the microscope cannot see, is actually a supercomputer in itself. And so we need to be really, really aware about this resistance and really do something about it. So the two main causes. There are other causes, like the hospital waste is getting mixed with the sewage, and the sewage is getting mixed with the water treatment. There are lots of things. There's lack of hygiene, lack of sanitation. That is also adding fodder to this bacteria. So I could enlist a number of causes, but these are the main ones.
Regarding that, what do you think the governments can do to prevent this?
Well, a lot. But unfortunately, not much is happening, as I may say. First of all, there has to be a regulation. What can be done and what cannot be done. The most important regulation which the government can enforce is passing a resolution all over the country that no pharmacist can give or sell an antibiotic without a prescription. Many countries abroad have this rule that you don't have a prescription, you don't get an antibiotic. Unfortunately, it's there on paper, but it is not enforced. So that's the first thing. The policing of antibiotic needs to be brought in. That's the first thing the government can do, in which an individual society or a body or an organization, even the medical body, cannot do. This has to come from the government. That's first thing. The second thing is the government is spending crores and crores of rupees on awareness about when COVID had come, and on all these other diseases like the non-communicable lifestyle diseases. This disease of antibiotic resistance is actually bigger than all these other diseases as well. So the government needs to earmark funds for various levels, to create awareness. So it could be on the social media, it could be on the print media, it could be speeches by the celebrities, it could be the Prime Minister himself coming up and in his Man Ki Baat dialogue that he has frequently, he can actually introduce this topic, because his word is going to spread to millions of people all over the country. So even 2 words from him can make a big difference. So I guess it could be done at various levels. The government can contribute definitely, and should contribute according to me.
So how do you think a student can help with this?
Well, a student, people may dismiss a student saying that, a student, how does a student contribute in all this? It's a worldwide, it's a global problem, it's a WHO problem. But each one can help. Students may feel that they are underpowered, or they don't have the wherewithal to do anything about it. But what you are doing currently, interviewing me and interviewing other doctors, that is a good step in itself. If you do this in your society, in your school, in your your friend club, or in the evening when you go out for a walk, you just talk about it. once in a while to your other people, your neighbors, to your other people. That's good enough for a student level. If you have the resources to do it at a bigger level, please go ahead and do it. You can organize, say, just 50-60 people can come, say in your building or say in your community, and you just play a video or even this interview or something else. Or you can have leaflets, you can print e-posters, you can have, so you can do lots of things. If you are passionate about it, you can do. I know it's not something that would appeal to a lot of students, but people who are motivated like you all are, I think you all can start with those tiny steps. Maybe it will help. Even if it helps 10 people, one person, one student helping 10 people, you've done your job. So yeah, I guess you can do that.
And lastly, how do you think a student, a doctor or medical staff can help?
Yeah, that's the onus is on us. I'm making these big speeches and preaching, whoever is listening to, but I guess the thing should come from us first. Number one, we should insist on giving antibiotics only when needed, okay, and not get influenced by patient's general condition or his emotional level. That's one thing. Second thing, we should write only what the correct antibiotic is and not just for a quick recovery. Many times, we tend to get a little bit overboard and write an antibiotic which will quickly work. We should write the scientifically appropriate antibiotic at our level. The third thing is we should tell them to complete the course. Many times in a busy practice, we would just write the prescription and the patient would go. We should spend that extra time explaining to the patient that, look, you need to take it for, if it's written for 7 days, take it for 7 days. Don't stop it for after 2-3 days. And do not take a near expiry antibiotic. Do not take an antibiotic which is like three tablets are left out of a strip of 10 and then you just, because that may not be appropriate for you, because that's something. So as a doctor and as a healthcare personnel, I think we could do that. The other thing which is most important is hand hygiene. Luckily after COVID, people have become more aware, but as COVID has gone away, the hand hygiene has also gone away. So hand sanitization, washing hands before touching a patient, or even within the community, even after children coming home, after playing, after doing this, before eating, after eating, all this hand sanitization which we religiously followed when COVID was there. And I told you, this is bigger than COVID. So if we can do that for COVID, we can definitely do this for the future. So I guess these are the small things that we can probably tell at this level, to combat this menace, because this is bigger than we think it is. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. And I hope that this awareness campaign that you all are doing reaches a lot many people, and I hope that it really benefits a lot many people in the future. So good luck to all of you, and I really hope that you are able to do what you want to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much.